And away we go. Episode 4. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Spike. This is MMEG 369 in regards to podcast. I am very happy and honored to be able to speak with you in regards to what's all going on. And we have to look at certain things in regards to what we talked about in energy, in regards to what's all entailed in regards to understanding the energy. So I definitely recommend for all of you to understand the importance of what energy really means to us. Now, MMEG, music, magic, energy, and God, was a concept that we started with doing a documentary about a decade ago, and it evolved into a discussion, and it evolved into now a podcast to be able to share with all of you to understand and to hopefully create a critical thinking process for all of you to start to go down a road to understand for yourselves of what is truth, what is our reality, and what is currently going on with our world, and what can we actually do about it. That's the things those are issues, and those are I would say the obstacles in certain ways that is stopping us and progressing and evolving our consciousness, our thought process, our applications toward each other. How did all this become what it is today? So let's start back and just think about what's all going on and how we evolved in the last 100 years. The turn of the century, we had a lot of mystics, soothsayers, and things of the mysticisms of the occult being very popular throughout the world. And as a matter of fact, Madame Blavatsky created a certain belief system that you can look up that involved Germany, that came forth. And on her paradigm, in her teachings, they researched into deeper of the mystics. And I'm going to leave that here for you to look up. And turn of the century, 1910, 1930s, all the way through those two World War I situation in Germany. So look through that, look it up, read deep about it, so you get an idea how the turn of the century from 1800s to 1900s was a big step forward in humanity. So as way we are today, and how does that so-called energy plays in regards to what we do every day? So let's think about this a little bit. Our current news, if you look at the current so-called media, and we're talking about mainstream media, your network news, your newspapers such as, the major cities in their newspapers that is still operating. Sometimes there's the only standing newspaper left. I know that in Houston, Texas, there were 2 competing newspapers at one time, and now of course there's only one newspaper, and there's kind of ending up being only an online newspaper because people don't read paper, so to speak, anymore. It is important to know your news source. If you only take one news source for your knowledge, and you end up wondering, well, gee, this is the facts that I'm going to accept and I'm going to take as what I understand, what is current events, current affairs, what is things that I need to know. Now, knowledge is huge. Knowledge is something that I definitely challenge everyone to create a schedule, which I do myself. I have a schedule on a weekly basis that we do between 10 to 20 hours of learning. And then when we talk about learning, we're talking about doing things that we never approached before, or a topic that we were interested in and that we have not researched deeply on. Learning is not redoing something that you're really good at. As a musician, if we're practicing a so-called major scale and you proficiently become master at that major scale, you may just practice the major scale going forward as part of the rudiment or the so-called just to get your practice in. But you don't have to put in the time at this point, once you master it, to refine over and over for hours on this thing that you're really good at. And this goes the same thing on basketball courts. Some people can shoot right really well, can't go left. So therefore, when you get on the court, they go back to just shooting right because they're really good at it. And they continue to do something they're good at. They never work on something that they're subpar. Knowledge is like that. If you have your paradigm set and you have your belief system going a certain way, and you are only receiving knowledge from one source, a mainstream source that gives you what they consider quote unquote facts, and you take that and you create your paradigm, your reality, your belief system. Now all of a sudden your direction and intent is channeling to you as the energy that you're going to project out from those thought processes. And those thought processes are not going to serve you best because your knowledge is limited. So let's think about that. Why do we ever want to be limited in knowledge? Why do we ever want to just know maybe up to one point? It's like reading a book and just read into chapter 1 and chapter 2 and just say, okay, well, I know the book from chapter 1 and chapter 2. And you put the book down and walk away and go on about something else. You wouldn't, would you? So what you want to do is keep in mind that knowledge serves you to go into critical thinking about certain topics or certain things on a deeper level, multi-level down. You will find different things. You will actually find different paths, different inspirations, different routes that may change the way you view what you thought initially when you opened the topic or the subject at the crust. It is very important for you and everyone on this planet to have that luxury, that time to develop critical thinking. And I know it's very hard for some folks that if you're going to work every day and you're doing your 9 to 5 and then you come home, you're doing your household things, including making dinners and taking care of kids and things like that, and you're absolutely exhausted by the end. And actually by the end, then you realize, I just wanted to veg out, I just want to be mindless, and then go about your business. And then go to sleep, and the next day it starts over, and that repetition runs 5 days a week. And so on Saturday, you're basically want your freedom. And that Saturday freedom is whatever you want to do, and that is considered fun, liberating, freedom. Once you get to that point, and then you finish your weekend, then you're back to the repetition of that cycle. And all this is for what? Money. Right? Is that really it? Is this whole thing all about money? Is the key, our life, is to provide enough money to create our reality. So the energy that you actually put into these things, the energy that you are so-called put into your paradigm, your intent comes from your brain first, your focus, your reality, before the action of your physiology, the actions that you take to go through, to make things happen. These are things that is utmost important. It is exactly how you play out and create the reality that you then examine your life or examine your situation and you critique it give the results, whether it is to be happy or not. You have to then assess if that's what you want to do and continuing on. Most people, by the end of their day, assess that, oh, it's tiring, and then, recharge and sleep and get on with it. So what we want to do is create a situation with your intent and your energy and your paradigm that is going to serve you, serve humanity, serve the greater of good in the unity of the big picture of what we're doing here, how we're doing it, and why we're doing it. With those type of thoughts, your reality will change of what's going on every day. And it's part of the nature. It's part of the universal law. It's part of the design. And I know some of you will not resonate immediately with any of this, and that's okay. That takes time. Not every one of us are at the same aptitude or same learning levels or even learning skills to accept certain knowledge. But make no mistake, understand the knowledge, the wisdom that is abundantly available to all of us on this planet, that is all of us throughout time. It's all knowing, and you can be able to enrich yourself, enrich your surroundings, enrich your family by applying yourself in this direction. To acquire knowledge is essential to growth. To examine self is essential to understand self. Now let's go back to the kind of energy that we project and how we create our reality from our energy that we project. I know currently we're kind of going through a huge worldwide acknowledgement of coronavirus. And it's really from a so-called information gathering point of view that we're more fortunate today to have the resources that we can actually see so many opinions, so many opportunity to documents regionally, country or continents or situations throughout the entire planet on this coronavirus situation. It is somewhat, I would say, confusing because you have so many resources telling you that this is a killer. This is something that you should fear. This is something that is going to change your current living situation. So you need to prepare for it. And then there's, of course, a lot of reports that is systematically saying these are the numbers that people affects. These are the number of the people that has passed from it. Be aware. Be proactive on protecting yourself. And then, of course, there's information out there and reports of this is overblown hype. This is something that is put out there for certain other agendas and reasons. And several things could be because of world economy. Certain things that causes political party driven agendas that could tie into news stories that bring negative point of views to certain candidates, or it could bring certain so-called paradigm into a group and rally them into a direction which they never had a direction before. All these things, you have to look at the big picture. That's why it's really important not to take one source and make that the ultimate knowledge and say, okay, my intent goes with this. My intent now is fueled and focused with this knowledge. That is literally, if you were going into battle and you look around into the house and saying, okay, I'm going into battle and the only thing I have is a shovel, so I'm going to grab the shovel and run into battle. No, that is not a smart move, because if your enemy or the battle entails machine guns or sword fights or things like that, a shovel isn't going to do much. So, of course, I'm not here to promote warfare or battle. That was an analogy to let you know how unprepared that you could be heading into certain situations. And if you are unprepared, then you're going to be somewhat uneducated or subpar in your education of the topic or the information. So these things are key factors, very important for all of us to understand that the situation with this particular coronavirus currently is abundantly in the media. It is being reported with so many different intentions, and it attaches itself with so many different idealisms and agendas that goes with it. And as us human beings, that we then decipher what we are going to do because the situation has presented itself to us. One of the things that I definitely wanted to bring to your attention is this motivation by fear aspect of the mainstream media that creates a lot of situations in the past and then continue will to create situations that you are frustrated, that you are scared, that you are now in angst, in stress. And these situations that is caused by these news stories is not good for you, because now what you are doing is you are taking your logic and your acknowledgement of a situation, and you are then taking the intent and fueling that intent, driving with negative energy as the driver. And if you do that, if you listen to my previous podcast, if you just Google around negative energy, intentions with the negative energy, you'll realize that that type of results, because of the intention, is going to yield the results of magnified negative energy. Now remember, energy is measurable. Energy comes in many, many different forms and different ways to apply energy, but there's only two sources: the duality of positive and negative. Really understand that the universe is not as complex as everybody makes it out to be. The universal law is actually very simple. And if we go to biblical times and looking at the Bible talking about Moses and the Ten Commandments and things like that, there was intention that I think goes very deeply in regards to there is just some universal laws that is very simple to follow. And we live in the world of duality driven, the energy going only one direction or the other direction, and it propels and it expands and moves. So you have to understand the ability, the power you have as so-called the driver of this vehicle. I really would like for you and everybody that you know to take a step back, if you will, just to discuss, to have a discussion in regards to what is the situation with the coronavirus currently going on this planet. What is it doing for us? Why is it happening? And then make some ideas intention-wise of how it could be better, right? So here's the thing I will leave you with. God is all-knowing. God is almighty, so to speak, of understanding. And with that, the information that you gather, the knowledge that you understand within this situation, what you want to do is you want to assess it with how does it serve for the better. And when you have knowledge such as we can prevent illnesses by rest, by eating correctly, by healthy lifestyle of cardiovascular conditioning, exercise. These are things that will strengthen your physiological, your body, to eliminate high risk of illness, or in this case, coronavirus. And like I said, God is all-knowing, is correctly to expand as perfectly as the universe does through universal law for unity and enlightenment. And This could be a universal way of another direction to come down and share the knowledge of better lifestyle for better self. Are you resting? Are you sleeping enough? Are you drinking enough water? Do you eat healthy foods? Or are you a processed food junkie? Is there too much sugar in your diet? Because sugar is not good for you. However, are you a vegetarian that is anemic? Are you paying attention to those things? It is important. God bless. You can see me at Twitter. You can ask me questions there at Jeff Spike Wong, or come over to my Facebook page for this MMEG369. I will see you next episode. Much love to you.